to Tasia and Harley, before we get into any additional questions that Danny and team had, did y'all have any responses or feedback, comments, questions with some of the initial list of UAT notes we got last week?
Yeah, I started reviewing those a little bit, and it looks like and talking with Tasia, looks like some of those are pretty easy to do. The one in particular that I think we already have a function kind of in place is dealing kind of with the documents. Talking about wanting like a timestamp to go along with the files. I think we already have that kind of in a button that you can click on that and pull it up. And I think it has all that same kind of information that you're looking for there. Tasia, anything to add?
No, only that the main part. Remaining everything are easy only.
Awesome. Danny or anyone on that side got any questions?
Well, yeah, I think you said there was a button. We were trying to get that where there's like 4 columns, I think is what we sent in. It's just, it simplifies tremendously as we're filtering through a huge file, because some of these files could have, 50, 60 documents in them, kind of knowing, arranging them by the date that we received them or by what document type. So it helps if we could have them up top where we could arrange them if that's possible, for sure.
Oh, so in addition to actually having those, you'd want it sortable.
That's correct. Yeah, because the way we do it now, and I'm trying to think of a new way. I'm not trying to lock myself in a box, but we do everything basically by time. And so one of the first things they'll do when they open a file is they sort it by the time that each document came in, so they know the flow of that project.
Sure, that makes sense. Just make a note here. What do you think the average number of files on a submission is?
I've seen them anywhere from 10 to probably 200. The average maybe 30 or 40, maybe.
Okay.
But when you get something like UT Neyland Stadium and they do 35 change orders and, and it's or one of the penitentiaries, it's, that $300 million project, the files can get quite large and numerous.
Awesome. I feel sorry to be the guy who has to cull through 200 files. That is for sure. Okay.
Yeah, because the main things we look at, and that's why we want a document type on there, is we look at the document type and the date it came in. And that's how we kind of figure out what's going on. So we don't really, the project name's important, but we look more at document type and date.
Sure. So you'd want to be able to sort by document type, the date, and I see that looks like you wanted status next to that as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think status. We don't have to sort by document type necessarily. I don't think we really do that. We just like it to be one of the columns that we see.
Right.
And it wasn't on, but date, we definitely want to sort. Yes, status.
It says please show the status and date stamp alongside Statuses should be the new status change too.
Yeah, that would help.
I know.
I don't know how easy the dates and the document type I think are the most important ones, and being able to sort by dates and important.
Sure. I'm not sure exactly how much the status should change in the, well, I guess
Yeah,
with the, I don't know how much it would change, because really most of it is, you know, project submitted awaiting review, and that's kind of the status I think it pretty much stays in. I guess it could go to on hold if you're requesting more information. Is that right, Tasia?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I guess we wouldn't see it necessarily if it's we're waiting for the architect to respond. We just see the status when we're having to do something with it, I guess. I think that's where that came from, and I might have to clarify with somebody on that, but I'm trying to look and see what it looks like. The biggest thing they're wanting to know as an examiner is it in a status that we need to take action?
Sure.
And I know they're trying to get off a FileNet when it was in your queue, you need to take action. So they're looking for something in this list that says, look, I got to do something with this.
Right.
And I think that's why they're asking for status.
Well, I believe that if you did reach out and say, hey, we need more information or whatever, and you change it to on hold status, and from my understanding, you typically like upload your, it's pretty much as the way Alex described it, as a another email system, sort of, where everything kind of keeps track, and it's really just passing documents back and forth.
Right.
So, you know, thinking like that, if it's on hold and that's the status it is while you're waiting on something, that status should be viewable either at the top of the screen or, you know, as they're looking at their actual engineering search screen, you should see that.
Yeah, I think we're probably okay there. I think what was confusing is like when it first comes in, because of the automatic process, if the architect chose an examiner, when you go to the file, it says awaiting review.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and which it's really not, because it has not been processed yet. So then there's another queue called processed after the admin has picked the TFM number and made sure the examiner was correct.
Right.
And it might be just changing the word of, I don't know how hard that is, of the status, just change, you know, if we're clear on the word, is that a difficult thing to change?
Tasia? I think what he's asking is, can we change it for when it comes in? Maybe it's processed then, and it stays processed until it is officially processed by the admin to project submitting awaiting review. Is that correct, Danny?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the word we want to use, but if we could just pick our words to put in those statuses, I don't know exactly what I want to use today, but the first one is when it comes in, it's really not processed. Then once we process, it's really that at that time it's awaiting review. Because the automation, I think, threw us off a little bit, because if they don't pick an examiner, then it doesn't show up when the examiner looks for it, you know, because the architect hadn't picked, and that's an option for them.
Right. So,
but just if we could reword the statuses, maybe change a couple of them, is that an option we would have choice of?
I believe so. Would it be something like submitted, processed, and?
Yeah, something real short. Yeah, something like that.
Well, if it's, I think, yeah.
Submitted would be good. One of them submitted.
Yeah.
Then once it's processed, I think we'd really want it to be called awaiting review, but it's a little confusing because you have two people looking. You've got the admin, they want to see that it's processed, but the examiners want to see that it's awaiting for them to review it. Right. It's kind of a double status there, if that makes sense. And some of that might be just our training. We might just have to train what these statuses actually mean to them, and I understand that.
Right. So what it sounds like is maybe maybe we have submitted as the first status, and then that lets your admin know that they need to look at it. And then from submitted, it would go to project submitted awaiting review, because it's going to be processed by the time they get done with it. Does that sound correct?
Yes.
All right. Tasia, is that a difficult?
So from the first we need to change that so from when user submitted to credit card, it should status should submitted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And after admin processed, like project submitted awaiting review.
Correct.
Changing those status is easy, but there are some logics we are using with that processed and everything we need to change in the code. So like it may take one sprint.
Okay. What we'll do is, Danny, we'll collect kind of what your ideal state is, see kind of what we can do in the terms of what time we have left. Since we already had, some set things that we're trying to put into place, and then see what we can come back with to, either accomplish what you're trying to get out of this. Obviously, we want to make this usable for you and your team, or, where we can meet in the middle. Does that sound fair?
Yes. Yeah, because I know we're going to have to set for some priorities here. It's hard on our end to think of what things we're asking for are time consuming or not. And I know some of them are time consuming, and some of them I hope are just a real quick change, but rarely is there a quick change.
If it's a text change, then that isn't dealing with logic, then
Yes.
typically those are easier. But
well, I will get with my guys and just send our recommended 3 or 4 statuses or whatever. I think it's probably just the first 2 we're talking about, and then y'all can tell me what y'all think on it.
Sounds good.
And I think I said I got a message just a minute ago. And I think you said you were going to try to do this, but it would be helpful to sort by document type. That is an option we do have now, and it is helpful. The most important one I think is date, but so if we're setting priorities, but sorting by document type would definitely be nice.
Right. Awesome. Okay. So I've got those. Let's see here. So we have our statuses, we have our document types, and you're saying that should be required for when examiners upload and change the status. Let's see. So Tasia, whenever they choose a file, it gets uploaded once we actually click the submit button. Okay, so I'm assuming that we would need to add like another field next to the file to upload that is document type drop down, and then that is.
So like instead of adding there, after uploading there is a edit option. We can add the document type there also. If you click on the edit button, beside the document name, you can add the document type.
So would that be after it's submitted and before they can get off that screen, they could change it?
Yeah, after submitted, they can edit, and they can add drop down.
Okay. So pretty much as the way it's functioning now.
Yeah.
Okay. And Danny, I'm assuming what you're talking about here is so that there's not that chance for them to not put that in there.
Yeah, I don't have in front of me what Alex sent you. I mean, there's several places. I guess we're asking to be able to click on what document type it is, and usually, especially important when the architect is submitting, is that they're able to choose a document type when they're submitting, aren't they?
Yeah, the architects can. It's on the internal side whenever
Internal side.
whenever
And so-
you're uploading a file.
So
Right
we just
now,
would upload it and then we'd need to go to edit to change it, is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
correct. That's how it is now.
Okay.
Then I have a question. Like this document type list is same as the user side, or those are different?
I think they're the same on both sides, Tasia, because the document types we use are for the project, and it just sorts the file by, makes it a lot easier to kind of to read the tabs to figure out which document you want to open by what it's called, by its type. And it should be the same on the architect as our side. I mean, they're going to have they might have a few options. Let's see, I'm thinking they usually probably don't have all the options we do, because we have stuff we're uploading from the state fire marshal, and we usually don't give them those document types.
Danny, I'm sharing my screen, and everyone else that is paying attention. I was just like, it'll make it easier just to go share this.
Yeah.
So this is the drop down of status or document types we have currently.
And is this on the architect side or both sides?
Well, this is on the internal side.
Okay.
I'm assuming that it's the same from the architect side.
Yeah, they have access, architect and reviewers.
Other from, because it gives something other from A&E, so that's always an option. I think we used to have other from state fire marshal too, just as kind of a catch-all that didn't fit in one of these. I mean, right offhand, they look pretty complete. Yeah.
So the process right now is you add a file. I'll just go pick this one here. Let's put it on hold. Submit it. And then it's right here. And then you'd go to edit document name. And we'll just call it other from A&E, submit, and then that's how it currently operates.
And I'm assuming, Tasia, that's a kind of a complicated thing to change that. To have that drop down when you're uploading, because this could just be a training issue. I mean, it's still.
It's not complicated, but like if we want to send this to live with early, like we can do that in the later. Like we have one option here, so that's why, like I said, but we can do it there also. But yeah,
I mean, it's actually simpler than it was, because we don't have to put in the project number, TFM number. When we're in the file and upload something, it goes straight to that file. So it's a training issue of making sure, because it kind of messes us up if they don't put a document type. So that could be a training issue if that's a time consuming thing. That would be a lower priority to add that. But I might have to get some opinions from Philip and other people on that. But I think that would be a lower priority to add that, unless it's something really simple.
Yeah, this is Philip. It's not an imperative, so it wouldn't be it wouldn't be a high priority level.
And maybe what we'll do once we kind of go through these different things is I'm listing out all the ones that we're kind of discussing. Then we can go through and kind of prioritize them and do it that way. And then if there is time, we can try to fit those in there. If not, then we kind of have a checklist for, if there's any enhancements after the project closes, which ones to get tackled first. Sound like a good plan there?
That sounds like a good plan, because a lot of the other things that I have that I don't think we've sent y'all seem to be more bugs than actual changes.
Right. Let's see here. I think that kind of covers this page. with the different columns, the document type, and the statuses. It's kind of on this page because we deal with the statuses here, but it's kind of just a general project flow. The other questions that we had on here was back here at this page was being able to sort by date.
Trying to think what page that is. Is that the page?
This is the project search screen.
Oh, okay.
And actually, if we got this part going, because I know right now that a lot of the tables are having issues with sorting. But this is the date. So I think if we got this working correctly, that this would give you your being able to sort.
Yeah, because we're able to sort by that date and the project number, which is a date oriented thing. So yeah, if we could sort by those two. And I go in there and sort a lot by reviewer. That's a helpful tool for a supervisor where I can group them in examiners.
Yeah, and you can do that here.
And we need to add some examiners. I don't know at what time we need to do that. If we need to give you the updated list.
Probably so, yeah.
Okay. We'll get that. Can we take names off of that? In the past, I guess we can in FileNet because there's projects in our history thereby. So I think we got to leave our history names in there.
Yeah, we were actually talking about dealing with adding the reviewers and such, and like adding to these drop downs. So, once you kind of get your up-to-date list, just send it over. We can adjust that.
Okay.
And, if you need to change any reviewers, let's say that hopefully you don't leave before this project ends, then we have to change everything that you're looking at. If one guy's leaving and then one guy's going to take over all his things, that could be a ticket if you really wanted to, saying, oh, hey, new guy A is going to take over old guy B stuff. I think that's kind of what we were talking about last week with Manasa and Tasia and the team. So I'm going to make a note here.
Could that be date oriented at all? Like we want to take over all projects that Danny did as of 2020 and not before that, or would it just have to be name for name?
I think it could be done any way you really wanted it.
Okay. Or maybe even by project. It'd be nice to do reviewer and project status. So anything that's still an active ongoing project is the ones we'd want to move over, not the ones that have been closed.
Right.
And that's an option we've never had. So that's definitely would be a nice function that maybe we can look at.
Right. All right. All right. Let's see. So there's that. That's getting that. We need a little search by address and partial address in the engineering projects. Yeah, I know a lot of the searching capabilities, because we had those in the backlog before, but it was just, we only had a certain set amount of time really allocated that we could choose, what was a higher priority. And unfortunately, that was some of the ones that were kind of shelved. So I'm going to notate it here, then we can, just so that we can say, okay, where does this fall in the priority compared to everything else you have so far?
I have a feeling that's going to be one of the top priorities because we can't pick a TFM number until we search by partial address and see if there's been a project in the past. And so that's, but but we'll look at that time.
Sure. Or you when so
So when our admin person gets it, this
Sure.
program seems to already give it a TFM number, but we have to go and look. We've had this building and we did a review on it in 1993, and it was assigned a TFM number at that time, but the building has changed names 5 times and all this other stuff, and that's why we usually, the least amount of information we couldn't put into a search, it speeds that process drastically. So a lot of times when I go in, I'll just search by the number address. I'll just put 101 and maybe the city.
Sure. Let me so whenever we're going through here, complete. Oh yeah. So whenever a project is submitted, it goes through this process and it matches with the addresses found here, so you can associate it with an address that's already if it's got the same address.
So that's kind of the way it's been done in the past. The other thing with that is, like, Philip and I get questions and phone calls, and somebody calls in with a random building and they have very limited information. But you're saying this will work the same. So if we're trying to pick a TFM number, this is automatically going to bring up the closest addresses to that.
Yeah, well, this will be for submitted projects. If you're, for example, trying to look up information on a specific building outside of this process, I don't think there's a way to do that unless you're maybe looking at the reports and do it that way, since we don't have that those fields here in this section here. So I guess it depends on I guess what's the biggest driver of needing that partial search? Was it to assign the TFM number? And if that was,
that's definitely the first thing.
Right. So then I guess it goes to, how often is someone looking up an address to look at past information that's not already in their queue?
I would say that's almost 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
That we get random phone calls, and it's hard to tell. I get a couple, 2 or 3 of those a month. I don't know how many Philip gets, or Chris, or other admin people, or other examiners. But
Right.
if I could guess, I would say that's probably 2 or 3 times a week. And normally now we go actually to the database and do a search on the database.
Got it. So it's 2 or 3 times a week per person?
No,
or is that
overall?
Overall, okay.
And Philip, I don't know, would you have a better guess of that than me?
I go to the database when this happens, but I would say 2 or 3 times a week just for me.
Oh, okay.
I've already had one this week.
I'm sure examiners do quite a bit when it comes to daycares, because a lot of daycares are changing names, but they're using the same address.
So we could be more like a couple of times a day average if you look at our full staff.
Okay. Let's see here. So there's that. Yeah, and the partial address part there. Yeah, I know right now all of these are dealing with the exact information, which I definitely understand it. It gets tedious because if I type in 2021, it doesn't search by partial. It's not a like search. So we just need to do partial address and probably put like search in most of these other fields. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, I mean, usually most of my searches, I just need maybe the city and the parcel address. I, but we do look it up by TFM number and progress. Those I don't. Yeah, it probably would be better partial on those too, because a lot of times I'll have the base TFM number, the first 5 numbers, but I don't know the dash AAA or BCA, and it'll pull up all the base ones, and then I can find the one I need.
Right. Makes sense. Let's see here. Then we have change the name of upload status update button to documents and status update. Okay. Let's see. Uploads. Oh, you're talking about here. Oh, the tab selection thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
not change the function of it at all.
Yeah, it's just the text on it.
Yeah, and I don't think that was as important to me, but I can't remember where that one came from actually.
Right. I think Tasia could do that in his sleep, right, Tasia?
Yeah.
So maybe any of these buttons, if we kind of look through them and we give you exact button and we just want to change the text on it, that's an easy thing.
Typically.
Okay. We don't want to change its function.
Right.
So maybe we should look through them and see. Most of them look fine. I think I saw 2 or 3 that it might be helpful if they had a different wording. It would be easier in our training.
Right. Okay. Yeah. If you find text things, those should be pretty simple. Like one thing that gets me
is the name on a button is a text, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Like right here, I assume that you would want a space between engineering and projects. Now, you may not. It just bothers me because I like spaces. But you know, I learned to ignore that no space there.
Yeah.
But if that's something you want changed, again, I'm not going to be looking at this every day, and I don't want you to have to deal with complaints because there's not a space there.
Yeah. Yeah, some of it, especially on the architect's end and examiner end, the more like we can kind of keep it, the verbiage we have now, it's definitely less training and less, especially on the architect side,
Okay.
that we can keep it the way it is. So if we can have a few days to kind of glance over that and we can send you something back on that.
Sure. You can have all
As
the
long as
time
we
in the
want.
world. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, this system really, you can get in here and you could spend 8 hours a day looking at this if you really wanted to. All right. And I definitely would like y'all to get, more time in here if y'all can, submit 2 or 3 projects a week.
We're planning on submitting more than that. I didn't realize it's actually going ahead and putting emails in our codes admin email file. I didn't realize it was doing that already, but I told admin that's why we're calling them all tests, where they don't get confused by these emails.
Perfect. That is excellent to hear. Yeah, whenever you do run across bugs, I mean, you can send them to me daily. You don't have to save them up. Because the faster that we kind of notate those, the faster I can get them entered and we can work on getting those corrected.
Okay.
Hey, Danny.
Yes.
You said that they're going to the admin email.
Yes.
I sent one in this morning. I don't see it in there. I don't know if it's already been removed or what, but I don't see what I sent in this morning.
Well, we might have to check that. I was told by Ricky on an email that it was, so.
I'd seen a lot of Tasia testings that we had, in the past.
But you didn't see the one you did today. Well, we'll check on that.
Or the one I did the other day either, but I didn't see it. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Well, I'll tell the testers that we need to check that and make sure they are, because I'm assuming that they are supposed to be going in there at this time. Is that correct, Harley?
They should be.
Okay. Well, we'll start. We're kind of making our checklist. We're hoping to do 4 or 5 of these a week. I've got 4 or 5 people right now in testing, but of course 2 of them are out this week. So.
Right. Awesome. That's great to hear. Perfect.
And I'll show you. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Are you through with the things we sent, or are there more?
Let's see here. We have the button, date field not loading on the user dashboard on the available document section. I did see that. Add project completed to list. Okay. I did have a question on this. So this project completed list of statuses. I know from seeing this last week, I think Tasia said that it would be pretty simple to add that and just make it where the customer cannot add more files.
Okay, that would be great. Because when we finish a project, and I got to make sure how it gets that complete on there. Right now, it gets that complete when a CO is issued, and I guess now it's going to get completed when the examiner goes and changes the project status to complete. Is that true? Or whoever, somebody has to go in there and change the status to complete.
Correct. And right now I know we don't have completed. We have approved stipulation, and from my understanding, those were kind of the final statuses. But at these points, you could still upload files. I believe Alex was saying that there could still be some files that come in after it's approved.
Yes, because when we approve a project, that is just the first step. Then it could go through 2 years of construction, and during construction, they submit change orders and everything else. So I've seen projects go 10 years and they're still in construction. So,
all right.
Yeah. So when you get a church that's basically trying to raise money as they build, they get a approval on a set of plans, and sometimes it could take them 10 years to build it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And most large jobs are going to take 2 years anyway, like a large high school, or they're always 18 months, 24 months to complete them.
Makes sense.
Or like the Tennessee Museum, I think that was under construction. I think we had 100 and something change orders on that, and it went on for 30 months after approval.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, that kind of covers that initial email. Tasia, do you have any questions on anything we've just discussed, or Manasa, either one of you two?
I don't.
All right. I think if y'all don't mind, I've got an email from one of my testers, and this is how I told them to do it with a screenshot, and I'm going to see if y'all feel while they're testing, if they make it like this, if this is what y'all are looking for. Let's see. Did I get knocked out? Are y'all there?
Nope.
No,
I see you.
Can see your screen. That's good. Thanks.
Okay. This is one of my testers, Jason. He's out this week, but we might have covered some of the things, but I think, like, say I got him to make screenshots as he had questions. I think the first one encountered some issues. Both projects created didn't generate their own individual project numbers.
Yeah, and let me see here, because we did run into that issue, and I believe it was dealing with.
No, when they upload any multiple buildings, for the multiple buildings, there will be only one project number.
Yeah, I don't think that's what this one is. I might have to go back and check.
This
I
is
did not.
two separate ones. This is one that he entered and then one I entered, and it issued the same project number for both of them. These are two separate architect entries.
I'm thinking it may have to do with if one of them had a check. Let's see here. So I'm gonna go try to look back here. 728.
Now they are by the same architect, but they were done separately because we only got one architect we're using right now.
Yeah, we're using the one that Alex sent us, same architect, but these are two separate entries.
Let's see here. TFM number. I'll look it up that way.
And I believe that's how he said he came across this. He was searched for project number and came up with those two. The TFM numbers are different.
Okay. Yeah. I know that we ran into this issue when we were really dealing with, for example, the first one would be paying by check. And then for whatever reason, whenever another one was done, if it wasn't paid for yet, I believe it was making the project number where it would increment properly.
Yeah, because now when it's a pay by check, we actually have to do our admin part before it actually issues a project number. And we usually issue it one from the day before where it's not the last one from the day before where it doesn't try to duplicate one of, because if we enter it for one today and we get another project, it automatically assigns the same project number. But right now that's done manually.
Right. Okay. And Tasia, we're able to look into this on the way that they paid on the database side. So if it does fall in line with what we've seen, then I think we know what's going on there, and that's something that we've notated. So, but definitely a good catch.
So who would I need to send these to? Do I need to, when I get this, should I forward it to Harley and Tasia, and who do you want me to forward these to?
Forward it to myself, and you can CC Tasia and Manasa and Robert on there. And that way I can kind of see if it's something, one, that we've already seen before and we know it's an issue. Just so, I can kind of triage that before it. Hopefully Tasia's not like, looking at every single email that comes over, and I can give him some highlights because he's pretty busy. So
okay, so I'll send it to Harley and just copy them.
Perfect.
Okay, because I know you said you wanted them as they come in, so.
Yeah, and that'll be fine.
Is this format good with a screenshot? And
yeah, that's fine. We can dig into any of the back end stuff really that we need. If I got any more questions, I guess also tag whoever sent it.
Okay.
That way, if I do have questions, I can just follow right back up with them.
That would be good. Like this one was the one we're dealing with now came from Jason. So, okay, that makes sense. Are we through with the first part, I guess?
Let's see. Well, he's got issue number 1, which means there may be a number 2.
Yeah, there is. Okay, what does this say?
Looks like the same type of issue.
Okay, here's number 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, awesome. Let's see here.
Okay, I remember this one. After submitting drawings as the architect, then he sent a review back. He's going through the steps, changed the status. Then he went back as the architect, and when you go to the architect's page, there's no place for them to upload new drawings. There's no button for them to do an upload.
So we
They
may
don't
have
have
to,
in the production also right now.
well, Tasia right now, well, we have the on hold status, which makes it where they can change the payment due and request additional documentation, right?
Yes, from the admin
So
side.
from admin side. So to me, and Danny and Tasia, let me know what you think about this. Would it make sense to instead of the on hold be what causes that makes it the not approved, and then you don't have the not, that way you don't have on hold, it's just not approved, and you don't have to discern between the two. Did you understand what I said?
No, I got lost there. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. It's Monday, and sometimes, my brain runs on a different track sometime, and that's why I have to ask these questions. So we have the on hold status, which right now on hold says, "Hey, I need more stuff from you."
Okay.
And the not approved just goes, "Hey, you're not approved." So would it
Okay.
make sense to make the not approved also say, "Hey, I need more stuff from you"?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Tasia,
and even once it's approved, it can't cut that off because they're always going to be the architect. The only time we need the architect not to be able to add stuff is when we hit complete, when we change it to complete.
right? Well, actually, that is.
Besides that, the architect always needs to be able to add stuff to, even if we don't ask for him. But say all of a sudden the owner changes something on a floor and he might want to submit it, before it's in a status that we've reviewed it and we're waiting on him, but he has something before it even changes status.
Right. And I know that we've went through this before.
But that button, he's saying when he went back as the architect, there was no button to add anything. You can assign a sprinkler contractor, and that was about all you could, or you could download documents that were in there, but you couldn't add anything as an architect.
Yeah, because only users can able to add now, and in the production also only users can add the documents in this screen.
Oh, gotcha. Well, all right. Danny, you're the person that it looks like y'all are using is the same one that I'm using, so I can see what y'all have been doing. That one's like an admin account. So I think what Tasia's saying is probably need to create a new account that's not an admin account and submit these, and I think it should have that functionality. Is that right, Tasia?
Yes.
Okay, I think all my testers have their own account, but they probably are using this admin. So they need to go, because we all have set up our own account on there as a user. So, okay, we'll try it that way then. Go in as our own
Well, I mean, we have to log in under the test site.
yeah, I know. That's the issue is right now we got to log in under the test.
We even log in under the live site with our own account.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure how to do that then.
So trying to log in on to the test site so you can create a test account so that you can do that?
Yeah, yeah, we don't know how to set up our own test account. We all have an account in production side, like we're an architect.
Yeah, let me see here. All right, I'm going to put this in the chat. So I believe this, and I'll send it an email too. You should be able to go and set up an account there. Let's see.
Yeah, Alex just gave us the account that's yours, I guess, and gave us a password to it. So that's where we've been doing all our testing.
Gotcha. Yeah, so yeah, you can go here and actually, hold on a second. I may have already set y'all up accounts. From whenever we're trying to work on getting all the appropriate people, come on words, assigned to the different projects, like all the reviewers and everything.
Right.
Let me see. I'm gonna check for the test list of users and send it out. Because I believe I did this, and let's see if I feel like I had notes on this too.
We've probably added a few testers from what the names you had.
Right. Yeah, let me see what I have. I'll send it over, verify that it's working the way I believe it should be working. And I can send over that list. It's a pretty default list, so
Okay.
So that
Okay.
should be that.
Okay. Issue number 3, also on the same page, building and TFM number are both showing as null. I'm not sure what happened to that. That has not happened all the time, but it happened here.
Right.
So I don't know
Okay.
what that is.
Yeah, we'll check on this.
Right. And on the same page, I don't believe the
For this question, like if you log in with as admin account, you can able to see return to administration dashboard that redirect to admin dashboard. And if you log in with user side, you will be seeing the user dashboard.
Okay.
Question number 4.
Oh, number 4. I don't believe the button. Okay, so that's because we're on the wrong one. See image should be okay. So several of these might be fixed once we get our own test account and not be using yours that is going through admin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it got me too. So,
Okay.
because I'm just, Tej was like, hey, use this. And I'm like, I'm not seeing this. He's like, yeah, well, that's because you got to do it the other way. I'm like, oh, you're good. You are good.
Okay.
Awesome. And if you want, forward me this one too.
Okay.
And that way we can kind of keep track and, start off on the right foot, I guess.
Okay. I've got two or three others that are a lot shorter. I think each one of them are just one item. Let me see if I can grab them. And I think you might have already answered this, TJ. From the admin side, he didn't see the capability of changing the fee after the project is processed.
It's there in the engineering process tab. So just if we did
Because usually what happens here is they change either the cost of construction or they're changing from a no review to a review, and our admin staff goes in and changes the fee that's due, and then the architect can go in there and pay.
changing the adding the only the cost is from the admin side, you it's there in the view processor processor projects, and changing the filing types is there in the engineering tab. So if you click on the do you want me to show that?
Yes, if you would please.
Okay.
I know we only have 4 minutes left.
Okay.
Now, I don't have anything.
Yeah,
at
if you
11,
see
but
the
other
screen
people.
like there is no return to dashboard, administrative dashboard, because I logged in as a user.
Uh-huh.
So there is no return to administration dashboard, and user he can able to upload additional documents here, submit additional document.
Okay.
And this question, and next I log in as admin dashboard. And then if you want to Yeah, if you want to keep any additional amount, like click on hold. Only the amount means if you need to pay like $100 more, just I'm keeping 100 and send. The project is will go to on hold, and a user will be getting the note. He can able to see that there is a fee due on this account.
So that's after it's, even if it's been processed, you can go back to this and add
No,
$100.
oh no, after processed, he can only change the filing type. If you come to project portfolio, here is a filing type option. He can edit that filing type from this to plan submittal and submit. It will calculate, and if there is any amount due, it will be showing here. So it is like minus 3,000.
So that's changing from like a review to a no review.
Yeah.
So what if the amount just changes because cost of construction goes up? Is there a way where we can?
Yeah, if it goes up, then at last after going here, at last in the upload tab, you need to keep just on hold. And if you click on submit, user will be getting that email. He is in on hold. If on hold means he will be going to the user account. I can show you that too.
But we can do that after, say, it's halfway through reviews or later on down the road. We can go in and put it on hold. Or is that only before it's processed?
No, you can put it on hold after it's processed.
Okay.
Before it's processed, it has one window to say, "Hey, we're not going to move it past the process step because you owe us more money or additional documentation up front." Then
Okay.
once that's cleared up, if it's determined after you start the review, say they did it with a no review letter, that, oh, this is a whole new building. What are you thinking? Change it to, you need a review, and you put it on hold, and then they can pay it there, and you can submit your documentation.
Yeah,
And they
if
can do
there
that.
any fee due, like a user will be getting here fee due, he need to pay here, like continue to payment.
Okay. Are y'all gonna offer any training on some of this stuff, or is this something
I'm putting
we need?
together a training manual,
Eh,
or I say a training manual, a user manual.
Okay.
And I need to update it some with kind of the changing and the fee due part. I was waiting until we got a little bit closer,
Okay.
but I can
This
put
is
that
not
together and send it out.
something I really deal with. We have a couple of people on staff that deal specifically when this changes. So I think they're the ones that I'll try to get them involved where we can show them how it's working, where if they have questions.
Right.
Because right now we don't have any training going on in the admin part. We're doing it all from examiner side right now.
Right. Okay.
I know some of them might have to go. I had a couple of more. I've got time, but I understand if other people have to go.
Right. I mean, I'm fine to walk through them. Let's see. Perfect. Robert's dropping, but he's gonna leave it recording, so we can go ahead and keep going through them if you want. If
I
anyone
think I
else
only
has to
got
drop.
I think I only got two small ones left, I think.
All right.
Uh, can y'all, do I need to reshare?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see, where am I? Share. Well, that's not working. I guess it is. Huh? I'm sorry, bear with me.
Well, that's all right.
Let me go through it this way. Okay, are you seeing my email, I guess, from Ricky?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if I can bring, he's saying, editing building information button does not work. And that might be, again, we're on the wrong, because we're on admin. Do y'all see this edit building?
That's before that's submitting a project. So the edit building information doesn't work.
That's, yes, on one he was trying to do. He said that was not working when he was doing it.
All right. Yeah. Haven't seen that one, but definitely go check it out.
Okay. And I'll forward you these emails.
Perfect.
Let's see. I might only, let's see. Oh, when he had all his, as say Ricky, the reviewer, had all his items up and he clicked go to the second page, it did not do that.
Okay.
It showed the same ones he had on the first page. And I'll forward that to you too.
That is engineering dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is when he went in and sorted by his name, and it shows he's got 2 pages, but when he hit number 2, it, what do you say, goes back to the same list.
So Danny Peak, I can able to see next pages. Or can you say his name? Okay.
Okay.
On yeah, because on his page there are only 15. It's displaying the total 15.
He's saying it only shows 12 or
Yeah.
says it shows that I have 12 records, but it's only displaying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it shows that he's got another page, but yeah, because it says displaying 10 out of 12.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm seeing that, but it looks like what it's doing is whenever it goes to the second page, it doesn't keep the search filter. So if I search for Ricky, it shows, oh, well, that's strange. Okay. Um, So when I did the initial search, it showed the top 10. And then when I hit last, it
It
shows,
loses the Ricky search and just,
yeah, and then does all of them on page 2. Displaying, yeah, all right. And then if I go to Ricky again and hit search, then it shows, okay, that's really weird. It's like it saves whatever page it is on the second search and pushes it into the third search. Very odd. No data. Okay. Yeah, that's weird. So it looks like there's a few small things. There's nothing like super major, besides the project number double submission part, which we've kind of seen that before.
right.
Yeah, the ed button on the architect side, yeah, I definitely see where that could be an issue. And the searching of the filters, yeah, that seems kind of like a little minor bug there.
Then I've
Was
only
there-
got one more.
Ooh, okay.
This one, I don't know if you can see it, and I'll forward this email, but says the no review letter submittal is not working correctly. This could be where we're coming into it from, but let's see. When she gets to step 4 and says, what does she say? And enters assembly occupancy, it kicks me back to the first page. I've tried multiple scenarios and was kicked back to the first page when getting to step 4 of all the different scenarios. I've been unable to complete a no review project. I have not gone back in there and tried this, but that has been the only scenario that none of the above. Okay, I know what it is, and that's
There
the
are
way it was
questions
written.
for no review. If you select no review letter, there will be some questions we added on that.
Yes, and I think I think she shouldn't pick an or A3 less than 300. I didn't know that was one of the options. Can you pull up that part, Tajay?
Yeah, I will show.
This is
if
the
you
last
come
one
to
I've
your-
got.
So if you click on any no review letter, so there are some questions.
Right.
So yeah, scope of work. If you click on the option, I don't to remember that like which one. If you click on the first question, we'll be getting second. Say, it depends on like when we created this, someone like mandately they are clicking with the no review letter. That's why they kept these questions.
Yeah, I think it has to do with 4. I might have to go in there and do this one a couple of times myself.
None of the above. You are responsible to be qualified for the no review letter.
I think that's one of the ones I did this morning was a no review, and I didn't have any problems because it was
Okay.
going through those same checklists that he's going through here. It brought up different questions, and I
Yeah.
did that. I'm requesting a no review, change of occupancy.
Yeah, can you go to number 4? What's number 4? That's the one
This
that kept.
No, go down to all the way down. Keep going, Tasia.
Okay, this is the one that kept kicking her back. So I think the only thing the facility is classified contains one of the following. That's what she was marking 300, and it should kick you back because really the only one you can mark here is none of the above to get a no review. Okay, I think that's a user error that we had. I'll check it out, but I think that's a user error.
It may be helpful if you can map that out for us, if like the exact questions that move on to the next one, or if there's multiple, because I know that whenever I was first kind of digging through here, I also didn't know, so I was doing a lot of clicking, trying to get it to work, and I did not notate kind of that step there. So that would be super helpful, I think, for.
And this was this was put in. I can't remember. I guess those questions are out there somewhere answered, but I'll go through them and try that. Because this was to alleviate where we have problems where people do a no review and they really should have got a review. And so this is supposed to hopefully stop some of that.
Right.
And that's why we put these questions in. So, okay.
Makes sense.
I think the one we got right now is a user error, but if she made an error, architects will make that same error. So I need to look at it and study it a little more, make sure it's not confusing for an architect.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Cool. So it sounds like we've got a few things notated here. Hey, Chris.
Hey, sorry I was late. On that last one, it might be as simple as changing the language to say you're not eligible for a review to changing it to you require plans plans submission and approval is required. Danny, if you want to think about that, And
Okay,
maybe,
yeah, I think what it does is if you answer one of them wrong, it shoots you back to the first page and saying your plans are submitted.
well,
And then,
if you're saying you don't qualify for a no review, that's a little more complicated than saying you have to submit plans to us.
I know.
So yeah, anyways, if you want, when you dig into it, just
Okay.
if you would get with me, and I try to I want to do things in a understandable way to the customer. Like
Yes.
I've always said, you got to take off your plans examiner hat and put on your customer hat and see it from their eyes.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, we had a plans examiner having trouble with it, so that's definitely means an architect probably would.
Yeah.
But so we do have an issue there. But I think that's internal on our side that we got to figure out what we want there.
I do have a question, just since I missed a lot of the meeting. Was there anything that seemed like it would take a large amount of resources or time to correct, or?
I think there was a couple things that may be, a slightly larger lift. And we've got some things that we're already planned out for. If it's like minor text changes, things like that, those are usually pretty easy to get implemented if we're dealing with, maybe changing the way some of the statuses are, um, you know, um, because those have logic built behind them.
Okay.
What I was planning on doing is kind of what Danny has sent over that aren't bugs, listing those out and kind of prioritizing them. If we do have any time, we can get those put in
Okay.
there that way. But other than that, it would be, here's a prioritized list after the project's closed out for enhancements afterwards, I believe. So
Okay.
Is that looking up by the address one of those, I'm assuming?
Well, I was gonna type them up and let you
Okay.
send them back ordered to me.
Okay.
And that way, if you need to discuss it with anyone else, you can say, here's the list we have. How do we need to prioritize them? And once you send that over, then I can probably get with Tasia and Manasa on, kind of what that lift is, and if we'll be able to fit those in if we have time.
Okay.
Yeah, just if I could be made aware of anything that looks like it's going to blow up our budget or, time frame.
Right.
That we'll have to make some decisions.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, if it's dealing with budget or time frame, that's really out of my hands. I just get you the stuff, and then you make the decision. You and Robert and really the rest of the team. But
Okay.
For sure. And I've got a couple action items. So Danny, you're going to send me the list of updated reviewers. And I'm going to I have a list, or if I don't have a list, I have a standard for the test users, which is where you'd be submitting all your things so that you are acting as a architect and not an admin, so that you can see all those options. And then you're going to send me all the bugs.
Okay. Can do. I'll get those out shortly.
Perfect.
And we're going to be testing some more this week. So,
Awesome.
and you said you just want, as we find something, go ahead and email them to you, Tasia,
sure.
Manessa.
Yes, that is perfect. Anyone else got any other questions? Chris, I know that you've missed a fair bit of this. Do you got anything, any concerns or anything that you wanted to touch on?
No, I just was, I'm glad I was able to duck in at the end just to see how it's going. And I appreciate everyone's help and work on your team and our team as well.
Awesome, for sure. I appreciate that.
And they did set it up as a recording. I know you got plenty of time to listen to it, Chris, but he did set it up recording.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Well, I guess we'll hop off here. I'll work on typing this up. Hopefully I'll send it out either sometime today or tomorrow. I'm going to shoot for today. My afternoon's kind of packed. So, but just let me know if y'all have any other questions. If I need to hop on a call, walk through something, or if there's something you're like, oh, this is really going to confuse people. We need to think about this a little bit different. If you need me, just give me a shout.
All right. Thank you very much for y'all's time, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For sure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.